A Minnesota farmer. A shrimper on the Gulf of Mexico. The link that connects them is the Mississippi River, whose currents carry nitrogen and phosphorus to the Gulf, mostly from Midwestern farm fields. When the nutrient load is too great, it creates a dead zone, an area where oxygen levels are so low that shrimp and other aquatic organisms can't survive. Jim Vanderpol is one of a growing number of farmers who are moving toward more sustainable farming practices in an attempt to do something about it.
A sustainable farm would be one that sustains the soil in a condition where it can continue to produce without being damaged. In other words, we're not spending it, we're using it. And sustains the farming people, which is the farming family and the farming community. It's an entire effort to try to use an important thing, a gift without damage. And that's a big order for any human being to do that with anything. I believe, I've heard it said, and I believe it's true, that in places on the prairie, half the topsoil is gone since we plowed. And that's about a foot. There's about a foot and a half left. A human life is just short enough so that unless we pay a little attention to it, we don't see it. You know, you got to be able to say to your father while he's still alive, were there clay knobs showing in that field 50 years ago? And then he says, no, not 50 years ago there weren't. Well, what those clay knobs mean is that the topsoil from that hill ran down into the bottoms. And that farm is damaged to that extent.
Farming practices that keep soil and manure on the farm instead of letting it run into ditches and rivers keep our water clean and help improve conditions in the Gulf.
These pigs are about 5 or 6 weeks old. They were weaned about a week ago. So they're learning to eat on their own now. I think there are about maybe 150 of them in there, something like that. Most of the feeding is done on straw. That makes us different from most hog farms. Most hog farms don't use straw, we do.
On Jim's farm, manure from the hogs and cattle gets mixed with straw and added to his fields. The manure provides the fertilizer he needs, while the straw helps keep the soil and the nutrients from the fertilizer in place. Soils wash away more easily on farms that use liquid manure or chemical fertilizers but no straw. Jim also uses strategies to keep the roots of plants in place year-round. This keeps his soil from running off the farm when it rains.
A perennial plant holds the soil in place because the roots are alive. You have that crown root effect on most plants that is very spider-webby almost, that is going out in the top inch or two of soil, and so much of the soil is connected to the root structure of the plant. The plant doesn't let loose of the soil. This is what I mean by a perennial planting. You know, look at all those roots holding the soil in place. That was alfalfa before we plowed it. That's the crown right there, and the taproot going down. And look at all the roots holding in place. The result of our diversified farming, our hogs and our cattle, and the fact that we rotate the crops, results in soil like this. You get soil with all of that plant material in it. See, there's roots there, there's stems in there. You're not seeing just black soil, you're seeing all kinds of what looks like trash or a straw pile there. There are pieces of manure right there, all along there. When you have all of this residue, this manure and this plant material and so on mixed with the soil, it breaks the impact of the raindrop so that the raindrop can't tear the soil apart and get it to run down the river so easily. Friend for life. Sustainability is always more of a goal than it is a state of being. You know, it's always, if you're saying, well, this is sustainable, you're probably including quite a few things you're forgetting about in there, and it's probably, you know, it might be better to say this is going in the direction of sustainability. I think that there are things about farming and about agriculture that we don't know yet and haven't figured out how to do really in a sustainable way.